All right, my name is Pete Johnson. I'm a mortgage loan officer with GreenState Credit Union. I'm going to talk a little bit about home financing options and the process for getting pre-approved for a home loan for your new Pinnacle Ridge condominium. GreenState Credit Union is the number one credit union, number one mortgage lender in the state of Iowa. We're also a member-owned local community credit union, which gives us a lot more flexible options than you'll find with some of the bigger banks. For example, if you're a first-time home buyer, one of the biggest obstacles that we face with first-time home buyers is down payment. I have a lot of people come in and say, hey, I'd love to buy a home, but down payment's going to be my biggest issue. I don't have 20% down, which is kind of what people think in their heads is kind of the magic number for down payment. You don't have to have 20% down. We've got a lot of great 100% financing options where you literally could bring no money to closing. So down payment isn't usually the obstacle that everybody kind of thinks that it is. Also, you might have some credit bumps along the road. Maybe you're a first-time home buyer, you haven't had a lot of credit history, so your credit score is a little bit lower. Or maybe you've had a divorce in the past, or maybe some credit bumps along the road, some late payments, maybe a bankruptcy. A low credit score doesn't necessarily disqualify you for financing. It's pretty rare that I find a situation where we can look at that, put a strategy together and try to get around some of those obstacles to still get you pre-approved at a really good payment and also a really good rate. Maybe you're a move-up buyer, retiree or move-up buyer. You're transitioning from an old house to a new house, and you're trying to put a strategy together for getting out of the old house into the new house, and the timing of that can be really confusing. We've got a lot of great bridge loan options that will allow us to pull some of the equity out of your existing home, use it as down payment on your new home, and we'll work with you pretty closely to make sure that transition is pretty smooth. Maybe you want to move out of your house and close on the new one before the old one because you just want maybe a week to move out. That's no problem. We can do that. New construction condos in and of themselves can be a little bit tricky to finance. Some of the bigger banks, the larger institutions, will want the development to be completely turned over and closed with all the units sold and finished. And so for developments like Pinnacle Ridge, that can be a little bit tricky because that's not always the case. Sometimes you're the first one or two buyers that are buying a unit in that development. It can disqualify you from doing a standard conventional fixed rate loan. So if you're looking for a 30-year, 20-year, 15-year fixed rate financing, which a lot of people are, you may not qualify for that with some of the bigger institutions. We have a 30-year fixed rate in-house option at a really low rate. It's a program that we developed working really closely with Watts Group and Pinnacle Ridge, specifically designed for this development, so we can still get you a 30-year fixed rate. So if you're not as comfortable getting an ARM loan or ARM, what we call an adjustable rate mortgage, you want something that's more fixed, maybe you're on fixed income, you're a retiree, for example, we've got an option for that that'll make you feel a little bit more comfortable than maybe some of the other options. So that's kind of some of the things that we do that are a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit different than how some of the big banks operate in terms of financing options and what we offer. So what are the next steps? What's the next step in getting pre-approved for a home loan? How do you go about doing that? The easiest thing to do, the first step basically, is to go to our website. There's a 15 to 20 minute application there online that you can fill out. It's not a formal final app. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not committing you to anything. Really what it's doing is just getting some of your general information together so we kind of have an idea of who you are. That will go to my email directly, and then I'll usually call you within 24 to 48 hours to get an appointment set, either in person or on the phone. And that initial appointment is really just to kind of get an idea of who you are, kind of look at your financial objectives and what you're trying to do with the home. And then also kind of go over payment options, cash to close, which is usually kind of the most important thing that people want to know. Answer any questions that you have, and then basically kind of walk you through the process from point A to point B. So that you feel very confident, very comfortable with what you're doing, so that you can make an offer. The goal at the end of that appointment is basically to get you a formal pre-approval letter as well, which is what you'll need to make an offer on your new Pinnacle Ridge home, and so that you can get started with that. And if you aren't particularly tech savvy, you prefer kind of the old-fashioned face-to-face phone appointment, I'm happy to do that. I like doing that as well. Feel free to call me, email me anytime, and we'll set a time to meet up where we can do everything kind of face-to-face or on the phone. that's basically it. If you have any questions, feel free to call me, email me anytime. Appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you soon.